Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's section. Tonight, we want to brief you on how to get a fully funded scholarship to study in the UK. And with us tonight, we have um, our guest, the person of Chidima Akaniro. She's a student. She was once a student of UNN. She studied microbiology. She also went to the Lagos Business School where she got her MBA, and also she is also a benefactor of the Cambridge Trust Scholarship and also the Commonwealth Share Scholarship. So basically, this is just like few things you need to know about her. I will have to give her the floor right now so that she can explain herself and also introduce herself further to you so that we'll be able to know her in case you see her on the road or maybe you see her on LinkedIn or somewhere. You can always know, oh, this lady is this and all of that. So, Miss Chidima, the floor is yours. Let's hear from you.
Hello, thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation to speak. My name is Chidima Akaniro. I had my BSc in microbiology from University of Nigeria in Suka. After my BSc, basically, I started my own business, a jewelry making business. I did that for about 3 years. And after that, I went on to do my MBA at Lagos Business School. Interestingly, I also got the Lagos Business School Foundation Scholarship for my MBA. Then I worked with the US Embassy for 4 years, helping US companies who were looking to internationalize into Nigeria and other sub-Saharan African countries. Then I went on to Cambridge to do my master's in public policy, which I have just finished. I was lucky to be a beneficiary of the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship and the Cambridge Trust Scholarship for my program, and I don't take that for granted. I realized that a lot of people are looking for opportunities like this. Personally, my school fees was about £35,000, so I would not have been able to afford that if not for the scholarship. So I'm happy to share, and answer any questions that you may have.
All right. Thank you very much, Miss Chidima. Because that's when you made mention of your school fees, I was like, yeah, like that's the part that baffles us the most. Like, firstly, I'd like you to answer these questions for us. Like, what do you think somebody or maybe a young graduate can do now for he or she to get or to be a benefactor of that particular scholarship? Like I know we say most times they'll say hard work and all of that, but you made mention of you use the word being lucky. So I don't know if
Yeah.
that's
So
really a thing.
yeah, one thing I'll say is you don't just wake up and then you become qualified for a scholarship. You have to be intentional in the actions that you take and in the way that you write your story. Okay, for instance, a lot of scholarships these days require you to have at least 2 years work experience prior to applying. So if he's a person just finishing school, it will be important for them to start to get some work done at least for the next 2 years before they start to apply. Even if maybe the job market is tough, you're not able to get a job, you can do volunteer projects, you can go and do internships and all of that counts. Okay. And then in terms of actually starting to apply, it's really a game of numbers. I hear people say, oh, you have to have a first class to apply to this, you cannot get something with a 2-1, with a second class or something. I made a 2-1 in my BSc, okay, and I still got this. So the first thing I would say is it's a game of numbers. The more you apply, the more your chances of getting. I applied for 11 scholarships and I got 9 rejections. Okay.
Wow.
So if I
Yes.
had sat back and said, okay, I'm going to apply for 1 scholarship or for 2 scholarships, I may have applied for the 2 that didn't work. I know a person who applied for 99 scholarships and then
Wow.
eventually he got 3. So literally he spent 1 year of his life, doing all of this. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of mental, strength. You get rejections, you cry. But the first thing I'll say is you have to get used to rejection. You will not just apply like that and it will go. Sometimes people apply year after year I had a classmate who applied, and then this is his third year applying and eventually got it. So you have to build that mental resilience first. Understand that it can go either way, you know. And then secondly, you have to, if you don't try, the answer would always be no. You have to get
Okay.
out of that place of wanting to and actually starting to do that. Okay. And then another thing is, when you're doing something, there are definitely people who have done that thing before you.
Okay.
Find those people, speak to them, get listen to their stories, and as much as possible, if you can get their feedback on your process, on your essays, that really helps. But I would just like to reiterate that it's a game of numbers. The more you apply, the higher your chances of getting at least one. You know, before you start, you don't wait until maybe April to start applying. A lot of scholarships are, giving out a year beforehand. So if you're starting school next September, you would have started by this September to start looking for which ones you're eligible for. There are some that even by November they've already closed. You understand? For the next year. So you have to be proactive, make a list of all the scholarships that you think you may be eligible for, and then start to get what you need ready even before you have to apply. Because sometimes the application window is so short and so small that before you know it, it's over.
Okay, so thank you very much for that. You said it's a game of numbers. Like the more you apply, the more your chances of getting the scholarship. So let's take for instance now. You said you need like we need like a 2 years experience, work experience for that. Okay, and considering the nature of the educational sector of Nigeria, and you also made mention of the uh the unavailability of what's it called of jobs out there now, especially in Nigeria, the unemployment rate and all of that. So it's really backfiring on almost most young graduates and the rest of us. So like if we want to do this now, like what platforms are available? Like, okay, let's take. I want to start applying, or let's take for instance, I'm having a job at the moment now. Like, what platforms do I go to? Where can I meet people of like minds? You made mention of people that have done this thing before, and like before me, or if I want to apply, I have to go ahead and look for people who have also applied, who have even benefited from the program. So how is there a platform that we can go to like that you can suggest like, okay, you guys should go to this place and do this and do that? So can you just tell us if there's a platform, and like if there's also a website or something that we can go to see a list of scholarship? Because I for one, I can just go to LinkedIn today now, and then I'll see like maybe somebody just reposted or posted, oh, so scholarship is available, then I just click on that school and then apply. So is there a particular place that you can direct somebody to, like, okay, go to this particular website, you can get this? Or I don't know, just let
Yeah.
us know.
Okay, so one thing I would like to say is there are a lot of resources out there, but
Okay.
you can only make use of the resources that you know about, right?
Yeah.
I'll use myself as the personal example. Um, One thing that I do trying to reach out to people when I want to do things, even when I wanted to apply for this, is first go on LinkedIn and
Yeah.
type the name of this, like in the search function, just type this whatever scholarship, or you can just type this school and then put scholarship. Okay, you'll see people who have made posts about, oh, I got XYZ scholarship to this school. So for instance, Cambridge, I can just type Cambridge University scholarship masters. Then maybe check in the post section. I start to see people who have written posts about maybe how excited they were, they got the scholarship and all. I read the post and
Yeah.
take note of the name of the scholarship. Um, for some of them, maybe those that are my first connections or those that I have some mutual friends with, I may send them a message to ask that I would like to have a conversation regarding this. You know, or maybe I'll ask specific questions, because the truth is, a lot of people are reaching out to them. Not everybody will have time to respond to you, and the people are responding and having conversations with everybody who is asking for a conversation. Then there's really almost nothing that they will do with their time, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing is first go and get a list of all of the scholarships that you're qualified for. So personally, I use LinkedIn. I use platforms like Opportunity Desk, Opportunities for Africans. You can even literally just type the name of your school on Google and type scholarship, and you will see different things. So you can learn how to do a search. There are different ways of doing searches in Google so that you can
Yeah.
find specifically what you're looking for. For instance, if you put maybe a term in inverted commas and you write and different ways of doing queries so that it will
Yeah.
return exactly what you're looking for. Another thing that I also found helpful were like platforms, maybe like there was this platform, Get in Education, that post some scholarships, they had some boot camps and all that was also helpful. But more importantly, every school in the UK on their website they have a list of scholarships based on your home country. So if you go on the website of the school and go to their funding page, you can put your home country and your course, and you'll see all the scholarships that you're eligible for. Okay, so from that way, I think I found like maybe 7 scholarships that I could apply to through there. I went on LinkedIn, I found a few more. Eventually, from going through all of this, I found about 11 scholarships that I applied for. Sometimes it can also help to reach out to someone that you know or that you have a mutual friend who has attended this school and say, "Oh, I'm looking to apply. Can you please let me know what scholarships I because there may be scholarships that people there know about that you may not see online." So those using LinkedIn and other social media platforms. I even went on Twitter. I'll go and search the name of the school and write scholarship. Even Facebook, like different places, you see scholarship groups on Facebook. Some of them may be open groups that you can just go and look through, and all of that. Optimize your use of social media, but also more importantly, make your profile in such a way that when you actually reach out, people can answer you. So make your profile
Yeah.
readable, so that people can actually see, oh, this is a reasonable person and be willing to respond to you.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much about that. So we have a question, and somebody is asking if he can get a scholarship for a bachelor's degree. So I understand you went there after you've done your MBA, but
Yeah.
is there any do you tend to notice any opportunity for somebody who wants a scholarship in to get a bachelor's degree? Is there any opportunity for
Definitely,
such?
there are scholarships for bachelor's degree in the UK, in US. However, you have to understand that their admission system into undergraduate studies is
Okay,
different from ours. So for instance, if you're looking to go to the US, for instance, you have to definitely write SAT. If you're looking to go to the
okay,
UK, you have to write, I think it's GCSE or something,
yeah,
where they now base it on a certain number of A's, maybe. So they have it's not our WAEC that you use. You can do
yeah,
WAEC, but you also have to write their own entrance. So it's based on performance in that their exam that you now start discussing scholarship opportunities based on your performance on that, and also the course you're looking to study. So you'd have to do your own research regards that GCSE and see what scholarship opportunities are available, but those are purely performance based.
okay, okay. So it's purely performance based. So, but would you recommend going for BSc or going for masters, like a postgraduate course? Like, which one would you
I mean, it depends on
recommend?
it depends on people, and it depends on you, it depends on your pocket, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're going to go and do your BSc, it's not something that you decide, oh, okay, now I want to go and do my BSc. It's something that you would have been intentional about like a year, 2 years before you want to go, because the things that you will need to prepare, the exams you will need to take are somewhat different from what you write, back at home. So the process is entirely different. It's up to anybody really what they want to do with their. There are also schools actually that you can go with WAEC, but for those ones, the scholarship opportunities may be limited. It's all of this, or £3,000 off, and you still have to pay maybe £12,000 per term. and all. And going for a bachelor's is much more expensive, because any fee you're paying it every year, maybe for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, depending on the length of the program. So it depends on you what you're looking for. But I'm more conversant with the opportunities for postgraduate, studies, masters, PhD
Okay.
studies, and the like.
Okay, so let's try and stick to what you're conversant to, because that's the opportunity we would like to get. So for like we have people who did HND
Yeah.
here, and we're having issues with that. Even in Nigeria, we're having issues with the employment sector not picking HND or favoring BSc over HND and all of that. So do you think there is like somebody with like an HND can apply for these scholarships that you're telling us about right now?
So if you have a HND degree, there are
Yeah.
definitely schools, many schools actually, that would accept HNDs. But what you can do to put yourself, to position yourself well for scholarships is to write standardized tests depending on what course you're going for. For instance, if you're going for a business degree, or if you're going for maybe certain degrees that require GRE, GMAT, you write the GRE, you write the GMAT, and make sure you score very high, so that by the time they are comparing you with maybe someone else who maybe made the first class with a bachelor's degree, from another university, they are seeing that you did much better on the standardized test. So
Okay.
if admission is really not just, your BSc. It's a whole lot
Okay.
of things together. So the academic part is one, the standardized test is one, the language test, the quality of your references, and then the quality of your own personal statement. Everything matters. Okay. So I would
Yeah.
say, if you think that, okay, you have the HND first, you should, if you're coming in with a HND, I would assume that you did really well. If you didn't do really well, it would be helpful for you to maybe do something that you excel in, and then you have a very good score in a standardized test, have quality experiences, and have very strong references. There are definitely schools that you can apply to, and that you will have a good chance. But I cannot say for sure, oh, you will get scholarship, you will not get, because even me, I don't know. I'm not the deciding body.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Um, One of the things you made mention of while explaining how we can go about getting the scholarship is writing a compelling, um, personal statement and the rest of that. So I don't know, like, how important is this, or how serious do you think one should take this particular write up? Because I believe probably when you apply, you have your like the example you gave, you've somebody that has already taken the academic aspect of all this. Now, what role does this writing of a personal statement, like what role does it play, and how important do you think somebody who is applying for this scholarship needs to take it, or to what level do you feel one should take this essay?
Well, first of all, for some schools and for some courses, there is no interview, right? So your
Okay.
personal statement is all they would read about you. So that essay is the one thing that will give them an impression of who you are, and will let them decide if who you are is who they want to admit into their school, or who they want to admit into. It's basically your story about yourself. And just imagine that these people are never going to meet you. They are going to judge you based on that. They are going to judge if you deserve to get an admission. They are going to judge if you deserve to be considered for a scholarship based on only what you write in that essay. So it's not something that you just wake up and write. It's not something that you just write a day to submission or something. It's something that you need to be very intentional about. You need to write carefully and honestly, because a lot of schools also do due diligence. There have been so many instances of people putting things and then getting ChatGPT to generate a personal statement for them, and they've been called out. There have been so many instances of people collecting another person's personal statement and trying to fine-tune them when it's not their story. And then maybe if for schools that have interview, you're not able to defend it, or when they do their due diligence, you don't pass through. And that's even worse because then you're going to be blacklisted if you
Wow.
do any of those sort of tricks and get found out. So I would say take it very, very seriously, and not just about writing it. Prioritize getting feedback on your personal statements from multiple people if possible. For me, I made sure to try to get feedback from people who had gotten the sort of scholarship that I was applying for on my personal statement.
Okay, 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 okay. Thank you very much about that. Please, if you're with us, kindly drop your questions down in the comment section while our host will be willing to answer your questions. So, um, we understand that getting a scholarship is one thing. Like when when somebody apply for a scholarship and then he or she gets that scholarship, like what do you think are those things that comes with it? Because sometimes we hear like some people even get paid during scholarship, or will these benefits be included in the scholarship while you're applying for it? We've had instances where people say they got the scholarship to go and study, and at the same time they still have to pay some money while even in school. And we've had instances of people who also say they got the scholarship, and then even while they are schooling, they are getting paid. So, can you tell us what is going on within
Well,
that
so
area of?
different scholarships have different requirements and different benefits. For every scholarship, before you apply, they will tell you this is what the scholarship covers. So you're not
Okay,
going in blind. You already know beforehand. For instance, there are scholarships that cover only your tuition. They are tuition only. There are scholarships that cover only living expenses. So if it's a tuition only scholarship, it's only going to pay your school fees, but you take care of your house rent and other living expenses. There are scholarships that cover only living expenses. In that case, you have to pay your school fees. There are scholarships that cover 30%, 50%. So there are different things that scholarships cover. There are also some concise scholarships that cover everything. They cover your tuition, they pay your school fees, and then they give you your monthly stipend. And then from that stipend, you get to pay your rent and you can have some money as your living expenses. So I was lucky that the scholarship I got covered my school fees and also gave me a stipend that could pay my rent. So when you're applying, the sort of scholarship or the sorts of thing that is whatever scholarship you're applying for offers. Is not a game that you're going in blind. They let you know before you apply this is what is covered so that you're not surprised coming in.
okay, okay. So that means we would like to have that your own type of scholarship. That's what we are all looking for. So can you give us some tip on writing a good essay? Because basically it's quite different from what we are used to here. I understand that. So like what are those key things? You said we should be intentional about it, and we should take it very seriously. It should be personal. It's something you like. I mean, these people will judge you based on what you've written. So what are those key things that you think, these are salient uh, how would I put it now, like salient points that you need to have in your
Yeah.
essay when you're writing it?
Well, the first thing I'll say is, sometimes people know what they want to say, and then they
Okay,
start saying what they want to say without realizing or asking if what they are saying is answering the question. So the first thing is when you have an essay question, that is asking you about something, ensure that your answer answers the question. Sometimes you get essay questions that ask you A, B, C, D. For instance, oh, tell us about a time when you did this. Also this, also this. When you give your response, make sure that within that word count that you give a response that addresses all of the questions that are asked. you know
okay.
don't just focus on one and then forget the other ones.
Other
And then as
ones.
much as possible try and include facts and figures in your response. So for instance, it's not enough to say, oh, I did this, I helped people, I did you know, it will be helpful to say, oh, I helped XYZ people in this number of communities, or I did this, just give numbers, let people be able to relate or visualize whatever it is that you say that you've done. So I mean, and
Yeah,
at the end of the day, make sure you get feedback on whatever essay you're writing. Because I mean, we think that what we've done is great, right? But until you give it to another person, you cannot actually tell if you're making sense or not.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So how I need to ask you this at the end of the session, but let me just ask you now. So how come people get to link up with you? Like maybe they want to review. They want you to help them in reviewing their essay, or probably they would like you to just give them some guideline or advice on a particular school that they are picking or that they are choosing. So how can they reach you? Like what social network can they reach you on?
Well, the first thing I would say is I'm not conversant with every school, right? I only know the ones that I've gone to. Don't
Yeah,
underestimate the power of Google and social media. Like literally anything you want to know, you can just type the question into Google and find the answer. However, I know that it's helpful to sometimes connect with someone and just get
yeah,
that personal feedback. But I would say that before you try to reach out, make sure that you've on your own gone to try to find the answer. And then maybe you didn't find the answer, maybe you're confused, maybe you need some clarification. Because if a person is reaching out and saying, oh, please, what is the link to apply for this? That's not a reasonable question because you can type into Google and see the link, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, if people have questions, they have things that they would like to ask, I'm available on Twitter. I'm Pepe Akaniro on Twitter. I'm available on LinkedIn as well, Chidima Akaniro on LinkedIn. But I find that I'm a bit more active on Twitter. So, Pepe Akaniro on Twitter. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much about that. So, I'd like to ask you this question again. Can you provide like an overview of the application process for fully funded scholarship? Like, I understand you're only familiar with the ones you applied for. Like, what are some of the documents that are required? So that we somebody that applied will not get stuck. That's not you don't wait until when you're being given the scholarship before you start running around. Like, okay, let me go to my school and get this one. Let me go to my
Mm.
department and get that one too. So, what are those documents that you think are necessary when?
Well,
Um,
different schools have different requirements, and different scholarships have different requirements, right? There are many fully funded scholarships, like there's the Chevening, there's the Commonwealth, there's the MasterCard. There are many fully funded scholarships, and different scholarships will have different requirements. So, for every scholarship, when you're seeing the application process, you will see the requirement there. But something that is universal to most of them is they would want you to have your essays. They would have different questions. It's never the same question. Or they would also want you to have references. So, and then, some things are on you, but like references, you're also managing other people's time, other people's availability, and all. So, it will help for you to beforehand start identifying who are the people that you would want to be your referees for essays you would want to write, for admissions, for scholarships. Who would you be putting out as references? And then you start to develop a relationship with those people or inform them beforehand, because you're not going to go and meet a person, maybe a professor who you want to write a referral for you, and then you're telling them 1 week with 1 week guide timeline. No, you will need to inform them way beforehand, maybe a month, or more, and then follow up with them, tell them, give them some background on what you've been doing since you last spoke to them, and let it be people who know you and can speak strongly. Don't just go and meet anybody in your department to write reference and the person would write a half-baked reference, because the quality of your references also matter.
okay, okay. So we need to reach out to those people who would like to make use of us as our reference, and also we make sure that our essays are well checked. So aside that now, so like how can one improve his or her chances of being selected? Okay, I understand you said it's a game of numbers and all of
Exactly
that.
what I
So
was going to respond. I was just going to say it's a game of numbers. The more you apply, the better your chances. But then, even if it's a game of numbers, like if you're doing nonsense 100 times, you probably get 100 no's, right? Which is why
yeah,
I said go and check out people who have gotten it. Go and read their stories on social media because people typically post, "Oh, I got this. This is how it happened." They may even post a lot more than what they will speak to you about if you engage them in a one-on-one conversation. Okay,
yeah,
read read about, and then as much as possible have conversations with people who have also gone through that process as well. And then, but most importantly, ensure that you're getting feedback on whatever you're writing. When you write, get someone who is conversant with the process to give you feedback on what you're writing, and then you know then you just hope that everything works out well. At the end of the day, there's still an element of luck.
yeah. Okay. I understand you made mention of the timeline during applying for scholarships. Like you said, some of them you apply a year before the scholarship and all of that. Some of them will end around November and all of that. So, can you like give us an hint of a particular period where you think most of the scholarship are available? Like
Well, a lot
some
of
of us
them,
might just
yeah,
okay. Go ahead, please.
a lot of them are available from September. So, for instance, if you're looking to go next year,
Yeah.
this is when a lot of them are opening up. So from early September to some of them end in November. There are a few of them that end in first week of December, but a lot of them are open from September to first week of November. So Chevening, Commonwealth shared, I think opens a bit is open till December. But then a lot of them end in November. So you just go and just I think the first thing is make a list of all of the scholarships that you want to apply for. For me, I had an Excel sheet where I used to track everything. I made a list of all the scholarships. I made a list of all the requirements for each scholarship. So as I'm meeting it, I'm ticking it off. So it is definitely a game of numbers. The more you apply, the higher your chances. Don't feel like, oh, I've applied for three, I've tried. No, like I said, I applied for 11 and I got 9 rejections. I know people who applied to 20. I know someone who applied to 99 and then he got 3 acceptances. And this person made it 2-2, by the way. So just put yourself.
So yeah. So academic excellence is one thing, but the commitment needs to balance up with that as well.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So, uh, is there any other advice you'd like to give, a young graduate or somebody who is currently, struggling to get a scholarship?
One thing I'll say is stop overthinking and just start doing it. If you apply this year for 10, 20 scholarships and you get 20 rejections, don't it will be hard, but don't see it as you applied and you're rejected. Oh my god, my life is over. You've learned 20 ways not to do it right. You've seen the ways that it didn't work. And guess what? You have more experience, you have more everything going in next year. So sometimes we get rejection and then we think, oh, this is over. No, don't give up. Don't give up. Like I said, I had a classmate who applied every year for 3 years. Every year he applied for over 10 scholarships. And this person, he works with a top government agency. He made the first class and all. Everything was just check, check, right. Well, he didn't get it up until the third year. He just kept applying and kept trying. And in the third year, he got a fully funded scholarship to London Business School. So I would say keep trying. First of all, just start. If you're still sitting on the bench and doubting yourself, if you don't try, the answer would always be no. And then secondly, you try to make very good use of the free resources available. Social network platforms, search for the appropriate terms on Google, try and reach out to people and just apply.
Okay. Um, is having a skill relevant? Like people say you don't go over there without a skill. Like you have to like get yourself like you have there is something you need to offer, right? So do you think having a skill before going or applying for those scholarship, do you think like some people say okay they are into tech, some people say they already learn a particular tech skill, so maybe that can also give them an edge or something. So do you think having a skill
It
it's
depends on the
relevant?
course you want to do. It depends
Okay.
on the course you want to do. For every course, there are things that they require. I mean, if you're going to do a master's in computer science, they would only expect that you have some preliminary computer science knowledge, right? So it largely depends on the course you want to do. But at the end of the day, you're going to learn, So, first of all, make sure if you meet the basic requirements for whatever degree that you're going to do, every other thing you would learn along the line. I think it's also helpful to know what your plan is, because a lot of times people say, "Oh, going to school," but then they're not really talking about going to school. They're talking about migrating permanently to that country.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it depends on what your goal is. If your goal is to migrate, then maybe it's helpful to have a few marketable skills that can help you if you get a job after your program. But if your goal is to go and do a degree, if you have the basic skills and you get admitted, that's great. You do the degree. At the end of the day, you decide what next for yourself.
Okay. So thank you very much, Miss Chidima. Your words are very encouraging. So basically, can you just how will I put now, like summarize, give us a summary of what you like us to like take home from the whole session right now, so
Mhm.
so that we can those people that joined later, or you know,
Yeah.
so that we can
Uh,
just pick the main points and all of that.
yeah. I mean, I'll just say, first of all, the more you apply, the better your chances. There are many resources available. You can search on LinkedIn for whatever school you're looking and type scholarships after it. You see people who have made posts. You can also connect with other people who are looking to apply for similar scholarships, and all of you will encourage yourselves and share opportunities along the line. There are many groups on Facebook dedicated to many scholarships that you can learn so much from. Twitter as well, many resources available. But most importantly, on the school website, you will see all the scholarships that you're eligible for, depending on your home country and the course you're looking to do. And then, if you can, speak with someone who has applied for the scholarship that you're looking to apply to. And then, prepare your essays. Let's not be a rush job. Get feedback and have your references. Identify the people who are going to write your references for you. Develop a good relationship with them. But most importantly, just start applying. The more you apply, the better your chances.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Can
You're
you
welcome.
just quickly tell us your Twitter handle again so that we have that?
Oh yeah, I'm Peppy
Uh,
Akaniro on Twitter. PEPPYAKANIRO.
okay, so it's Pepe Akaniro on Twitter, so you can just follow her and just I guess you have post on this how will I put now, like on how people can get scholarship. Do you have post like that on your Twitter
Well, I
and
have a post about my own journey,
yeah?
so I don't have a post about how people can get scholarship. I have a post about my own journey, but I'm happy to answer questions that anyone shares, regarding to their own peculiar situation after they must have researched. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So thank you very much,
Thank
Miss
you.
Chidima, and
Thank you.
it's nice having you here. We do hope to hear from
Take
you
care.
some other time.
Take care, you.
Okay,
Bye.
yeah, that'll be a wrap for tonight's section. Thank you very much once again. Do have a good day.
Thank you, you too. Bye.
Yeah, bye.